Hello and welcome back to this beautiful set here in San Francisco, California, Corrective Works number 4, and we're still stretching and mobilizing structures that are hypertoned, that are too tight, and also strengthening those that might be too weak. But this number 4 workout here is more about strengthening overall core muscles, hip muscles, so the very core of our body. And we're starting with a roll down. Feet are hip width apart, and we're doing 3 little push-ups. Hey, where's this coming from? These are triceps push-ups, so 3 times. You don't need to lift your feet like I'm doing there. I'm not sure why I had so much energy. Then walk and crawl back with the hands to your feet. Bend those knees, pull the tummy in and roll back up, lifting those arms, extend the whole spine, release those shoulders and exhale, come back down, rolling forward. We're repeating the whole sequence 3 times. So forward fold, releasing forward, then crawl forward all the way into your plank position. Make sure your fingers are parallel, middle fingers are pointing forward, and then bend those elbows, elbows stay tight. This is a great triceps push-up, shoulder opening, engaging more the triceps than the chest, especially if we're overusing the chest with working in front of our bodies. Then crawl backwards. You can also come into a down dog or crawl backwards straight away. Then bend the knees, belly in, inhale, come up, draw the arms overhead, and then exhale, roll back down again. You're loving it, and that's why we're doing it one more time. I'm going back down on my knees this time because triceps push-ups are kind of hard, but if you can keep it up on your feet, do so. So bend those elbows, nice little triceps push-up 3 times, and then engage the belly, nice plank, engage the core, walk back all the way onto your feet, and then roll back up into standing. We're coming into a balanced pose, into knee hold, strengthening our back and our hip flexor. So we're starting with the right knee. Grab your right knee, pull your right knee to the chest, but then release your arms. Now open those arms in a V position. You want to spread your fingers, you want to engage and elongate all the way into your pinky fingers. Release the shoulder down and try to keep the knee higher than hip height. This will lengthen your tailbone, allowing your lower back to lengthen. This lengthens the psoas while we're engaging the iliacus. Keep your feet firmly on the ground. In balanced positions, always engage the abductors, rotators of your muscles. And then stretch your hip flexors, grabbing your right foot, pulling it back. Both thighs are parallel, pushing the hips forward. Knees are parallel to each other. Engage the hips and then release. If you need to, you can shake it out a bit or mobilize and then change sides. Grab your left knee, mobilize your foot if you want to, and then let go of your knee. Draw the arms overhead. Keep the knee up as much as possible. You will feel your tailbone lengthening, pinky finger reaching out, shoulders relaxed. Now remember to rotate your standing leg externally to shift the weight to the outer heel, outer arches, and then round your big toe mount. If it's possible, in this balanced position on one leg, lift your toes. Lift those toes up in order to engage your arch. And then grab your foot, a little bit of a quadriceps, hip flexor stretch, bring the foot behind your hip, shift those hips forward, engage your glutes slightly, knees are parallel, and then release down. Now let's work the arches a little bit. We've done that in the previous video, but this time you can see it from the side, so maybe it makes more sense. Come onto your big toe mounts, on the toe mounts, then raise the arms, shoulder height, palms are facing up, and now bend those knees forward. And as you can see now, I'm staying upright, so I'm not bending forward. This is not a squat. This is simply and knee bend with the hips staying above the feet at all times. So you could think this of a like learning how to walk on high heels, but this is actually learning how to create arches. So this is allowing the arches of your feet to get stronger. So you can keep the arches up and really ground your feet on the heels, outer arches. Go as low as you can. Keep your back elongated and long. Now, since we've been strengthening and lengthening our back, let's roll forward, rounding your back, come into a forward fold, and then come crawling forward, no push-ups, but a plank position. So either find your plank position straight away, or use the trick with the knee down on the ground, with the hips exactly one thigh away from the floor, pulling the navel in, narrowing your hip points, find your perfect plank from the crown of the head, one line all the way to your heels, pulling navel in and narrowing your hip points. Beautiful plank. That's not all. We're coming into leg pull down. Nice Pilates whole body workout that we're doing here. So lift one leg and then push the other heel back 3 times. Inhale, lift, push back 3 times and change. Lift, point the toe, push back in the heel 3 times and change. Lift, point the toe, engage the core, push back 3 times and change. Lift, inhale, exhale, push into your heel 3 times. There you go. One last time. Inhale, lift, push 1, 2, 3, all the way into the heel and lower down. Wonderful. Release into child position. Stretch what needs to be stretched. And then we're coming back up into all fours. Working the piriformis again in all fours. So stretch your right leg out and then rotate your right leg from deep in your hip outwards. This is strengthening the piriformis, deep muscle, stabilizing our sacrum, and I would like you to make this movement only from the hip downwards. So the upper body, the shoulders, the belly, nothing else is moving, just the hip, the foot is rotating outwards. Not even the sacrum is shifting. And then relax, release, come back into all fours, engage your tummy. Shoot the left leg out, flex the foot, and then rotate your leg outside. Really feel it deep in your hip. Feel your deep butt muscle engaging with this outward rotation. So the whole leg is turning. Maybe you can see this, my pants here with this dark line moving. What's actually happening here. Keep your belly engaged. No rotation in the shoulders, only in the legs, and then release. Wonderful. If you need some more time, you can always pause the video. Otherwise, we're coming on our knees and then fall onto the right side into a side 4-point stance or 2-point stance. Leg kicks. So one long line from the crown of your head all the way to your toes. If you can, point your toes and then shoot the leg forward. Inhale, exhale, shoot the leg back. Inhale, forward, exhale, back. Keep those glutes engaged. One long line of your spine. So no hunching, crunching, bending over. Your spine is in a nice long line. And release forward, round yourself up, roll up, and then fall over to the other side. Upper leg shooting out. Side leg kicks. So inhale, kick forward, exhale, kicking back. Inhale, kicking forward, exhale, kicking back. The upper hand can keep your occiput, the base of your skull, so you can push the back of your head into your hand. And this allows you to elongate the neck to find the right direction for your head. So pushing your hand into your skull and then roll forward and roll up, come into sitting. Reverse plank, engaging the whole back line of our body. Told you so. This one is a bit more strengthening, a bit more toning, a little less stretching, but that's what we also need. So come into your reverse plank and shoot one leg up at a time. Try to kick 3 times up, 1, 2, 3, pointing your toes, and then change. Quick up, 1, 2, 3, and release. While you're kicking up, make sure your hips aren't dropping. Your hips stay in that nice long line. Make sure your throat is open. Hold your head. Shoulders stay open. Fingers are pointing towards your feet. You can do some more. Well done. And then sit back down. Release forward. Into forward fold. After toning and strengthening the whole back line, make sure you're folding back forward, reducing the tone of the whole back line from your toes to your eyebrows. That's our back line. Perfect. So just to warn you, we are going into a reverse plank again, but this time without the legs. So level 2, and I would like you to emphasize this time on opening the shoulders. So your legs stay both on the ground. No leg action here, but I would like you to focus on the upper body, opening the shoulders, make your collarbones smile. So pull those shoulders apart and back, opening the chest, opening the shoulders, and try to keep your throat open. We're holding our head, but that doesn't mean we have to close our throat. We can still keep it elongated. Lift your hips as high as you can, maybe even a front line stretch, and then release back down and fold forward. Perfect. If you can, grab the outer edges, the outer arches of your feet to teach your body how to shift the weight when standing, which is on the outer edges of your feet. I keep telling you, weight is the only weight-bearing structure of our heels is the outer heel. The inner heel is just flesh and arteries and nothing stable. Let's come into a shoulder stretch. Now simply sit back into this nice seated position. Hands are behind your shoulder, fingers are pointing towards your hips, and then bend those arms. This could also be a triceps press for someone who's very flexible. For someone who's not that open in the shoulder, you might not be able to bend your elbows, but if you can, bend your elbows some, as much as you can do. If you can't, if this is already a stretch for you, just to have your hands behind your back, fingers pointing to your hips, then that is totally fine. Alright, let's do some leg work and then some core work. We're starting with the scissors, so come with the feet above your hips, then lift those hips into your hands and shoot those legs out behind you. Elongate and stretch the front of your hip. We're wanting to open those hips, so kick away from you as much as possible. You don't need to pull the other leg too far towards your head, because this would create too much weight on the neck or the head, and I wouldn't want that. And then come into bicycle, elongating the feet. Keep your feet pointed and engage both the quadriceps and the hamstrings, so the whole leg stays engaged. This is a very focused, very strong movement of the legs, treading water, bicycle in the air, strong movement of elongating the quadriceps and the hip flexors here. Stretch, and then come with your hips back down on the ground. We're coming into the jackknife modification. So with your hips on the ground, feet above your hips, lift and shoot up first. So feet lift up to the air, to the ceiling or sky, and then lower down with the feet towards your head and roll down. So you're lifting up, shooting the feet up into the sky, into the air, and then flexing further in your hips, feet towards your head, and then lower down. So the intention is, one, to shoot those legs up with the help of your deep core, and then to roll down very slowly. So make sure that you're up and then lower the legs down and roll down. So first attention is going up and then roll down. Perfect. I'm opening a little adductor stretch here, but you don't have to. So just opening the legs to the side makes it a bit more fun to do once you're down with your hips. Perfect. Let's come to the corkscrew. So this is a circular movement. You're basically doing an 8 while you're doing one part of the 8 first, going out and down and back in, and then the other half of the 8 going out to the left, down and back in. So out to the right, down and back in, out to the left, down and back in. And when you are starting to go to the side, to the right, exhale, inhale, come back to center, exhale to the left, inhale, come back to center, and release. Pilates loved those series, so we're doing a little leg series here, coming onto the right side, kicking the left leg up. So this is leg kick to the side. Exhale when you're kicking the leg, or simply continue breathing. Make sure your feet are pointed. I like to engage both feet to keep the legs engaged, and make sure you're rotating the upper leg outwards when you're kicking. Then keep the upper leg in the air and close both legs like a scissor in the air. This is great leg workout, and try to lengthen both legs by pushing the heels away and pushing the toes away. Perfect. Change sides. These are great series. There are some more in kicks, and we're doing a very simple one here. So rotate your legs outwards and kick the right leg up this time. I also chose those exercises which are very healthy and very therapeutic and very corrective. There are some Pilates exercises that are not so useful for modern people anymore, I would say, but those are the most effective here that I chose for you. Then leg lift to the side, side leg lift, keep the upper leg up in the air and close the lower leg. And this is the last toning exercise here, closing both legs in the air like scissors, and then we can stretch lying on our backs. Simply come with your hips up into a hip lift. This is just for a little bit of leg toning here, but the actual work comes now, bringing the elbows in, and then open and rotate your shoulders outwards. We're working our rotator cuffs here, so the elbows are staying on the ground, and we're opening the hands to the sides. It feels a bit like a robot because we're reduced in our movement, but this is great for opening the shoulder, mobilizing the shoulders. Rotator cuffs. Keep those hips up, shoulders and head firmly on the ground. And then simply stay here and keep those arms open. Elbows are tightly tucked in. Stay in contact with the ground. And then release. Last stretch. Plow position. Pull the legs overhead. And you can simply stay here with the legs more or less parallel to the ground. Keep the weight on the shoulders, not too much on the neck and head. More on the shoulders and hands. And if you want to, you can flex and point your feet, pushing one heel out at a time. And then once you're ready, very slowly roll back down onto the ground into a little Shavasana position here if you want to, breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Come back anytime you like, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!